Welcome back to Connect and Collaborate. Once again, I'm Alex Hopkins, your on-air producer. We have with us in studio Emily Schromm, who is a health and wellness entrepreneur, and Bonnie Chacon, global supply chain and sourcing manager for CAP Logistics. Welcome, ladies. Again, we're having a fascinating conversation here. I am learning a lot, and I'm taking these mental notes just so you know. I'm getting free help right now.
Just ask away, ask away.
Absolutely. So after this, I'm definitely going to have you measure me, and we're going to go over it.
Perfect. EmilySchromm.com.
So, speaking of EmilySchromm.com, one of the things that we can find on that website is your Element tea. Mm-hmm. So we are going to dive in here with how we got started. What motivated wanting to get into teas?
I know, and I'm thrilled to be here. I mean, I feel like in just such little time, with especially Bonnie's help, we have come so far. I mean, it's just so cool. This has been a dream of mine for 3 years, and I had done the nutrition programs and online programs. I had done the backpack company, so I finally had an actual product. So I kind of knew the world of getting a product made and getting it ready for basically to get into the online world, which is what I would primarily sell it on. And I just was so stuck because I had all these tea blends that I loved. I was selling them, or not selling them, I was giving them away as Christmas presents. And anybody that would take them. And I just knew it was something I wanted to do for my audience. And there were certain things that just kept coming up, whether it was gut issues or whether it was stress. The herbal coffee was perfect for my people that had a lot of stress. And I had to figure out a way to get these to the market, and I didn't know where to go. And so I've had such a great relationship with CAP Logistics over the last 5-6 years. It's been a really long time, and being able to be introduced to Bonnie, and Bonnie was the way that these teas really happened. I mean, when did we first meet?
I think it was just a side conversation. It wasn't even anything strategic or meant to be.
Yeah.
Emily was here at our location. CAP as a company really empowers its employees and has a strong health and wellness program that they continue to advocate, just so that we as an employee base are more focused on our health. And Emily's had a lot to do with that, whether it be training at a gym that we had access to, giving personal consultation to employees. And so it was just a great collaboration that already existed. And within that, Emily came in and we started talking, and I'm not even sure how we got there, but we started talking about tea and a little bit about my background in sourcing. And the next thing you know, I was off and running and trying to find out how could we bring an Emily tea line to life. And I actually searched out into a couple of different countries to find out where tea manufacturers were. Got some samples sent in. And Emily had such passion and true knowledge of teas that she was able to take those samples, provide ingredient lists in terms of what she was looking for, and then receive those samples, taste them, really understand them, not just from a flavor, are people going to like this, but in accordance with her passion and true health, is the tea really going to have some benefits to the human body, and how so, and what does that look like? We finally settled on a single manufacturer, and they've been phenomenal to work with. So throughout that back and forth process, 5 original tea blends were brought to life. The Victress here in front of us is the latest, so it's the 6th blend that Emily has created, and it's just been such a joy to work with her on this.
Oh, wonderful. So I want to talk a little bit here about the sourcing. So that wasn't something that CAP had done before this came about, correct?
Correct. So the CAP family of businesses has CAP Logistics, which is a domestic forwarding company. We do LTL, full truckload moves, hot shots, and primarily the focus was in oil and gas, mining, manufacturing, and those were the industries that we worked with. CAP Worldwide came along a few years later, and as companies began to grow, as our customer base became global, then so did the CAP family of companies. And so CAP Worldwide was created to service those needs. And they are a traditional freight forwarder and NVOCC, which means they can help clients with importing, exporting, cross-border, customs clearance. So a lot of variation there, but we've mainly focused on the transportation aspects of bringing a variety of products in or out of the country. I came to CAP through I know quite a few people that had worked for CAP and had always just loved how they really liked the spirit of the company, which I think spoke to me. And so I was speaking with some friends, and they said, hey, why don't you come over and take a look at CAP? And I did, and I loved it. And just being here, I was able to not only just focus on the freight forwarding side, which has been in my past, but also throughout my work experience, I did spend time on the customer side as well. So I've been the customer that needed to ship things in and out of the country. I had an opportunity to spend a couple of years over in China working for a manufacturer in order to see what that process looks like, develop a lot of contacts within Asia and Europe. And so those would be then the sourcing contacts that I've kept all of these years. And so when I piece all of that together, both understanding what a customer wants. So when Emily comes to me and explains her vision, I can understand what she's talking about. It's just not, I need to bring this product and I want to make money. There's a lot that goes into that. There's marketing, there's packaging, you've got to understand what your costs are going to be and what you want to retail something for. And so there's a lot more that goes into that, and I could appreciate and understand that, as well as then had the sourcing experience to where I could go, and that's probably the key piece, especially for a new entrepreneur, is making sure that you have strong and very capable and vetted, I think, partners when you're going to go into business is extremely important. You're not a large company or an organization that can write off $50,000 if something doesn't turn out well. Every penny matters, and you're trying to be, trying to become profitable, and so you need to make sure that your partners are strong partners. And so I could bring that to the table on behalf of CAP, and then wrap that up, I guess, with the logistics piece to get it in. So it's been a great opportunity for me to utilize the skill set that I bring and that CAP has as a whole, to help an entrepreneur here locally in Colorado. So it's
Bonnie's
been great.
Basically Wonder Woman.
You were talking about her amazing story. Your story's pretty amazing too, right? You helped launch a dream. Really?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, you really did. I know. We're going to hug it out hard.
And I want to ask here, so from little bitty dream idea, just an inkling, to packaging, how long was that process?
So I should say CAP Logistics also helps me with shipping my backpacks from overseas. So there's two ways that you guys have really, really helped me. And I think with the tea, I've been playing around with them for like 3 years. So I think coming into Bonnie's office and then having tea time and trying our first samples, I want to say it was fast. It was 3 or 4 months probably of getting our first round into consumers' hands. So we moved pretty quickly once we had the blends dialed in. It was just about perfecting the labels and then making sure that they were all compliant with all the regulations we needed to be compliant with, and then we were off and running.
Yeah, and that is probably unprecedented. I mean, usually the length of time to have an idea and bring it to market's much longer than that. But truly, I think Emily's understanding of what she wanted to bring, all of her experience in health and wellness, understanding herbs, she'd really thought it out. And so that was able to then shorten that lead time cycle, if you will.
Now, this isn't the only sourced product that CAP has done, correct?
Correct. So actually, this was just going to be a one-time special project. Emily has referred us out to another friend of hers that's in the health industry, and that's been exciting as well. So another friend of Emily's is a nutritionist and had wrote a children's book, and within that children's book, there were some different toys that were created to go along with that to help bring then the story of health and wellness to children at less than 10 years old. And so we were able to go over and source those toys and go back and forth with some prototypes and bring that to life, and really excited about that as well. So that's the second project that we've done, and looking forward to doing some additional sourcing projects like this.
Yeah. Do you have anything in the works that you can talk about?
Actually, something not as fun, but there is another company here within Colorado that imports safety products, and so there's some LED lights and some construction safety equipment that we're looking at also. So it's been fun.
That is fun. So and this came about, the sourcing that CAP now offers, all because of this tea, right?
It really did. I guess I had the experience in the background, but I wasn't really sure from a platform how to get that out there. And so CAP's been able me to be able to do that, and it really was because you asked.
Oh, that's so awesome.
It's been a win-win situation on both sides.
I love hearing that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. Oh, it warms my heart a little bit, and it seems you guys have a great friendship now because of this.
Definitely.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about the packaging here. How long of a process was that?
So I'm a little bit crazy when it comes to design because I am not a designer, but I know what I like when I see it. And so I was really lucky to always have a designer to work with. And so when I first came in with the tea, I knew this M on the packaging. So Element, the M is throughout all my brands. So all 5 of my companies have the same M. And so I knew that was a component. And with Element Tea, I wanted to deal with all the elements. So fire, earth, air, and water. And each tea has its own element. So there's teas that are more fire and teas that are more earth, and so the whole Eastern medicine that we talked about a little bit. So it was just kind of incorporating that into a simple but strong label, and so figuring out a way. And our 6th blend, the Victress, this is a really fun story because I work with Girls Inc. of Metro Denver. I did a charity challenge on MTV in August of last year, and I won $50,000 for the organization here in Denver. So it was this incredible way of kind of giving back to the community. And I knew that when I launched the tea company, I had to have a purpose bigger than myself. And so Girls Inc. of Metro Denver was that purpose. And so we took our 6 tea blend, which is actually bright red because it's a hibiscus blend, which is just so ironic because Girls Inc. of Metro Denver is a red, their whole organization is red and white. And I went to the girls, the middle school girls, we tried the tea, and then they named the tea with me. So they named it Victress. It's a immunity boosting blend. So we wanted to make this label a little bit different and the packaging a little bit different to just represent what we want the tea to be. So it's really good for immune. It has nettle and vitamin C, rose hips, and hibiscus. And then it also has pau d'arco and elderberry, which are all great for the immune system. But we also are giving 15% of proceeds back to Girls Inc. of Metro Denver. So we just wanted to make sure our newest label said that. And so Stephen nailed it.
It's been a great story. Yeah.
It is a really beautiful story. And I love the name Victress. Mm-hmm. Was that voted on, or how did that come about?
We had the girls taste it. It was like a fun little testing, teaching them about the herbs. And then we had this little brainstorm sesh with a whiteboard, and someone just said it. And it was just... everybody in the room got quiet, and we were like, yes,
right.
That's it.
A female victor. And especially currently in today's time frame, I mean, it speaks so much.
Volume.
Yeah. It's incredible.
It really does.
I love it.
With women we found our day, you guys.
Right?
It's a great
I think we always had our day. We just are finally getting recognized for it.
That is fair. Yes, I will agree with you there. But I love that it's Victress, right? And it's not a word that you hear very often, so it sticks with you a little bit.
Well, good. That's what we want.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll actually be, as all products do, as they've kind of caught on, we'll be changing the packaging just slightly, moving ahead. And so that's also been something where, again, you enter the marketplace, you want to know your costs, you want to know where you can retail, and as it has indeed caught on, then you continue to grow and you look to refine it. And so we do love this packaging. The packaging was intent, both to keep the tea fresh as long as possible. The black matted bags are because you don't want tea sitting on the shelf, because the sunlight itself will take away some of the properties of the tea as it just sits there. So you try to keep it sealed so it stays fresh and fresh as long as possible. But we'll be going to a printed bag here soon, which has allowed Emily to incorporate even some more design elements into the bag itself. And they're just beautiful, so I'm really excited about that.
Me too.
So by that you mean tea bags?
So no, they'll stay in the tea, but these are stickers on the bag, so it's kind of our first draft. But if you go to like a Whole Foods and pull anything off the shelf that's been on Whole Foods shelves for a while, you'll notice they're all printed labels, and so they're no longer stickers. So we're graduating.
Yes, exactly. So it's been an involvement. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And in addition, whereas all of the teas are with all natural ingredients, and the majority of them are could be certified organic, we're actually transitioning the line as well to where 100% of the teas are certified organic, which just brings yet one more element here, I guess, that Emily's been striving for, and being able to do that within budget, and yet keep it at a price point where people can consume it as part of their everyday health strategy as they move forward.
Yeah, because as we mentioned a little bit in the last segment, eating healthy is not always cheap, right? It's not always affordable, and so that's awesome that you are taking that into consideration with your brand, because not every brand does that.
Yes, I know. I agree with that. And it's been something I've, even my programs, it's 21 days for $21 and like fully all in workouts included. I think
signing up yesterday.
Yeah, it's always been an important piece, because I started when I lived off of tuna and almond for a long time, so it's just, I get it. I get that eating healthy it can feel expensive, but if you just do it right, you can get there. So, and the last component, we didn't even say this, but my favorite part of the tea, besides the taste, is every order comes with a spirit animal tarot card. So this is my super hippie side coming out. But I love spirit animals. I always try to figure out what people's spirit animals are. And so it's a really fun way to just, again, kind of connect with yourself and just take a moment to appreciate who you are. And that's just a side item that I'm really excited about with the teas.
And I loved it, because last time Emily was here, I picked my spirit animal, which, yes, it is the sloth, which I know most people just find that so incredibly funny, as did I. Yeah, I think it was also a warning to me. But when I flipped over the card and actually read all the details about the sloth, it really did picture a lot of my personality. And so I have new appreciation for the sloth.
The sloth is fascinating.
I love it.
They really are.
They just found a fossil of a sloth. There used to be 8-9 feet tall. They used to, humans used to hunt sloths. Look it up. There's this new National Geographic article about amazing massive sloths. So I think it was just the way they've evolved. But you might be the fierce sloth from thousands of years ago.
That must be it. As we went forward, too, one of the things that I have to say that now I drink a cup of tea every day. I've always loved tea. But for a while there, too, I was just starting to drink a little bit of coffee. And when these came out, I've definitely switched it up. And an interesting point where we were just talking about, as much as I'm trying to focus on eating a little bit healthier and making healthier decisions with my food every day, the one thing that I can say is very easy to do is, while doing that at the same time, if I'm drinking a cup of tea that I know is one of these teas where I know what the ingredients are and I know what its purpose is, I do feel just happier in general, that I feel like I'm giving my body something good that day. And so
I love hearing that.
I really do. And so for me, there's a couple of teas, and we even tried them out here in the office. So one of them was an anxiety tea, and someone here that was in the office that had quite a bit of anxiety, couldn't sleep, different things. We tested it out on them, and they loved it. It worked well. There's a tummy tonic tea, which I have to say is one of my favorites. I just have a really queasy stomach, so most things in general are going to upset it, even if it's, sometimes a salad can upset it, so just the most simple things can upset my stomach. And so for me, that one's been a lifeline that I just turn to all the time.
I love the tummy tonic.
The
herbal coffee, which is a really good coffee replacement.
That was the one I wanted to ask you about, because I did look at your website before you got here, just so you know, but I saw that it was herbal coffee, but no caffeine. So that threw me off a little bit.
Yeah, so for a long time I had to cut caffeine because I really just hit a wall and I was waking up really exhausted, and I call it adrenal dysfunction, but it's basically our stress levels get so high to the point where we just become chronically fatigued. And so the most simple way to help with that is getting not dependent on caffeine, as I have a coffee cup right in front of me. So I have recovered, but one of the things that took a full year for me, it was I had to cut coffee. I worked at Starbucks for 6 years. I've always drank coffee since I was 12 or 13. I started really, really young, to the point where six espresso shots would not affect me. So I knew I had to have a come to Jesus moment. And the herbal coffee, I had tried so many different coffee alternatives, and they just did not do it for me. And it was the ritual of something dark and slightly bitter and really just the coffee moment. And so the tea, that was one of my first creations, actually, when I was creating the company without me knowing it was a company. It was just a way for me to use roots as burdock and dandelion, and then some chicory, which has been really nice to add more coffee flavor. And then, some adaptogenic herbs, so ashwagandha, and then a little bit of flavor with licorice and cinnamon. So that's one of my favorites.
Interesting.
And the great thing about that too is if you are a coffee lover, it satisfies that need for the coffee, not only just reducing the caffeine, but interestingly enough, for a lot of us, the reason you're having coffee is you're having it with 6 teaspoons of sugar or with an immense amount of creamer. And so the amount of sugar in those coffee drinks is so high. And this is a way to have that same flavor, but without that, and they still have that nice sweet flavor.
Yeah, so it's not just the straight black coffee, which I wasn't until I was 30 when I started drinking coffee for the first time.
Oh, man.
And I will never forget my first cup of coffee. I was like, what is this? I didn't know at all, but now I see how you can become dependent on caffeine like that.
And I only have one blend, the Golden Sunrise, with caffeine, and I use yerba mate, which is just a beautiful plant. Argentina loves it, so it's what you see in mate gourds in South America. And so yerba mate is a different type of caffeine, so it technically is caffeine, but it's a non-crash and burn caffeine, so way different than coffee. So that's one of we have a turmeric Golden Sunrise blend as well. And then the Victress, the hibiscus blend. And I feel like I'm missing one.
I think just the 6 so far, so I think we've covered the 6
we got them all.
Yeah. And they're all element related.
The hormone tea.
Hormone balance. I knew I was going to say. Most of the women that I see that have some issues, whether it's PCOS, which is just a polycystic ovarian syndrome, or just insulin issues, so they don't handle sugar very well. So I created a tea for hormone balancing, which I think we all kind of need a little bit of help with. So
and actually looking at the numbers, I think it's the leading selling tea, because traditionally someone might look at it and think, oh, hormone tea, so and have their preconceived ideas of what that means. But really, when you talk about regulating your insulin levels or something to, and you could obviously speak to it better, but just the healthy benefits that come from it.
For men or women.
Exactly.
Yeah, long story. I guess I could get nerdy for a little bit, but just if we have issues like with women with low progesterone, or if we have testosterone that's going the wrong way, so men, the reason they bald maybe a little too soon, we get testosterone that converts to DHT, which is what we want to avoid. So the herbs in the tea are a way to block that conversion, and so it's just a way to naturally support the system.
So if I'm dating someone who's balding, I should just give
just
them
in
tea.
secret slip that tea. You should
love this.
A little sal pimenta.
Obviously you're getting some great reviews on this, right?
Yeah, I've been really lucky with the audience that I've had. I'm ready to have, the gym I'm building in Rhino is going to actually be a tea espresso bar as well. So I'm excited for people to taste them and get their hands on them. We're setting up our first wholesale accounts this month, which has been amazing. Getting the logistics and the inventory to be able to do that. Getting on Amazon is what's currently in the works right now. But right now selling on herbalelement.com, just having really great feedback and reviews and getting people to love tea again, because we're the only country that doesn't love tea. So
yes, we're trying.
Yes,
we're trying.
Yeah, hopefully these help.
Yes, I'm assuming one day, because we finally got into microbrews, that for a long time America wasn't into that, right? And so I'm hoping one day we'll have a micro teas.
Oh yeah. It's growing. I mean, it's a booming industry, so I'm really grateful to be in it, and couldn't be in it without Bonnie. So I'm glad we met, Bonnie.
Yeah, so I just want to say thank you to Emily as also. It's been so fun to work with her on this project, and to involve Cap Worldwide has been great, and just been such a fan. So thank you.
Thanks, Bonnie.
I love. You guys are making my day. I'm really enjoying the show.
This is how work should be, right? When you really enjoy it, and this is just that passion. And at the end of the day, really Emily's empowerment. It's contagious, because it seems like every conversation, everything she does, everything she touches just turns out to be such a happy story. And it does it, whether it's the schools or anything, it's amazing what she can do.
Thank you, Bonnie.
I've loved it.
Well, what is the future holding for you?
Oh gosh, so much. So, it's really just every component of my business. I'm just excited to grow it because they all, whether it's getting strong with the backpack that turns into a weight training bag, or whether it's getting healthy from the inside out, I'm just getting it to more people and growing it as naturally and organically as I can.
I love that. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it, ladies. And be sure to check out this podcast and more at cobrt.com/radio-podcast and like and subscribe. Thank you so much.
Yay.
Thank you.